plan change 37 2023-06. It does note that I am abstaining, but the way the meeting went, we did have discussion, and I did at that stage, and then Hilary did a bit more explaining, and when it came to the vote, I did vote for.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, but
well, I initially, myself.
Yeah.
I initially abstained as well, just due to lack of context to be able to cast a vote, but with the additional context provided, I was in favour.
Okay, we'll get that changed. Very good. Thank you, Councillor Westman, Councillor Shepherd. Councillor Lachlan.
I'm happy to move with those changes.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lachlan. Moved by Councillor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Park. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. 4.2, Ordinary Council meeting on the 30th of June 2023. Any points of clarification on those minutes? No? I will move it, please. Thank you, Councillor Truman, seconded by Councillor Westman. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. 5.1, members' portfolio updates. Councillor Christine.
Well, it's been a very busy month in many ways, but the only specific thing I want to mention is the meeting with the Council of Social Services that Councillor Westerman and my colleague here went to with me last week. It was a very interesting meeting, and it certainly raised a lot of concerns about emergency housing and social housing. And of course, we've continued to talk about since, and we had our meeting this morning, but it was worthwhile, very worthwhile to hear the community and the struggles that there are in that particular part of our community. It's hidden, but it's definitely there.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rankin. Councillor Shepherd, Sports and Recreation.
Yeah. So we had the Sports Advisory Council meeting just recently, and that's trucking along quite nicely. And also just following on from Christine's mention of the TCOS meeting, I had a subsequent meeting with a couple of people from that meeting, Te Papamārearea, and this is a little bit more in line with Councillor Westerman's community profile, the portfolio. But yeah, lots of interesting discussions and a few gaps there that I think we could probably help fill. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Councillor Shepherd. Councillor Fletcher's not here, so we'll go to Councillor John Williamson, Arts and Culture. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Richard. You had a meeting yesterday with Steve Giles and Louis Haynes and Kelly from the Active Arts. Just some lots of concerns about the future with respect to the Arts and Culture Action Plan as to the lease they're building 2029 approaching. So to reassure some reassurance around about what was happening. So and some of the expectations they were from council and from them as well. So it was a good meeting.
Thank you, John. Sorry, back to Councillor Kirsty for age and disability.
Yes, I don't have anything to report there. We've had a catch up with staff, but we haven't had our next meeting with Access Taupō yet. But just in regards to Mangakino, we went to a hui with Raukawa. They had it with some of our senior management as well, and just saying how their organisation works and how we can best engage with them. It was really worthwhile hui. And also we've had our new toilet block down at the lakefront that has air conditioning. Yeah, and it looks amazing.
Oh, good news. Thank you, Councillor Truman. Councillor Daniel Lachlan for Environment and Climate Change. Sorry, Danny. Oh, thank you, Councillor Westman.
Last week attended the Warra House Trust meeting, and subsequent to that, had another meeting just on ensuring that the processes were starting on how we're going to manage and run Warra House. So the work to go under the bridge on that one yet, but making the job has been advertised last week and getting some good inquiry for the facility manager on that, which is good. I did dip my toe in the water in the sports and rec. Councillor Shepherd just the other day, having communication with the rowing in the Waka Club and just trying to sort out their roofing issues and keeping the boats protected. So that's just ongoing conversations. Then had the meeting with the Waipahi Botanical Society. They've got some concerns about the flight path and some of the trees, the native trees that may need pruning, and we're working on that with Andrew and then the Cache Bay Residents Association. They do have their AGM on the 20th of August back at the Community Hall. It's now semi-open, and they invite anyone who is interested in going to attend.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Westerman. Covered one. Yeah, Councillor Kylie Leonard, food production and primary industries.
Just basically, yeah, watching global dairy trade and watching prices coming backwards. I think that might have huge implications for the Taupō District, and as a point to note very carefully. Calving is starting and lambing is not far away. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good luck with the calving. Right, Councillor Sandra Greenslade.
Thank you, Michelle. Reasonably busy month as usual. On 5th of July, the Turangi Co-Governance Committee met for a very interesting workshop on matters pertaining particularly to the Turangi area. I'd like to thank the staff for the in-depth reporting and help that they give us on those workshops. On the 7th of July, I met with Louise Upston. We had a tour of the town, Turangi services, town centre, medical centre, and other services in Turangi. It was also the day after the road was closed due to the truck going over at Boiling Point, and Mr. Luxon had to drive around the lake and realised what we have to face sometimes. So it was a very good time on our part, I thought. On the 14th of July, the district celebrated Matariki along with the rest of New Zealand. There was a great night organised by Amplify and the Taupō District Council staff in the Turangi ISA, along with Tina Tahi and Waka Eshu. That was the culmination of a week of a lot of really lovely events that the council staff organised in Turangi and very, very well attended. It was also school holidays, and we were absolutely inundated with people due to the snow on the mountain. One particular accommodation holder told me she'd had 18 telephone calls in one day looking for accommodation. So there was not a bed available in Turangi over that period due to the lovely snow. On the 19th of July, the Tongariro representative group had its very first meeting at the Omori Hall. Again, thanks to the staff for their work and their input into this community, to this committee. We follow council protocols as best as we can, and there's lots of discussion goes on out there. So I think that's to be encouraged because people like to know that they've been heard, which makes a big difference. And just continue to lobby really for something done about the road. I was stopped twice this morning coming into this place on the bends with two wide loads where the traffic was all stopped because the trucks were taking up the whole road. So it's continuing to be an issue for us. If the road is closed, which it's going to be in a few months' time for work, it is a 3 hour round trip. That's all I have, Your Worship.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much, Councillor Greenslade. Councillor Campbell.
Oh, nothing to add this.
Thanks, Nathan. Right. I think that's it. Oh, my update, of course. Sorry. Yeah, I have been doing some work. Yeah, just three things basically that were sort of lead items. The coffee catch up Turangi is very successful. Unfortunately, Councillor Andrew a little bit after, but I know you're busy. But they're really good. They're really working really well. Big, huge numbers coming out from the community to have a chat and just acknowledge Jackie in the back row there, who's been following up on every query, that sort of thing. So services there. A community have announced the Mural Community Awards, which any good do-gooders or good people in the community, if anyone would like to nominate anyone, acknowledge your service and certificate and a morning tea on the 18th of August, but you can get your nominations in now. Also, myself and Julie met with RAL, the receivers of RAL, who seem to be the same people as the liquidators. Good positive meeting, and we'll get through this season. They're still dealing with both entities, possible purchasing opportunities, and they think they'll conclude some of those. And a new one that's come into the picture. So, what else? Was there that meeting, Jenny? The main things come out of appreciated our support, and of course the Crown support. Crown kept the lights on down in our burning basically, so we appreciate that. We've obviously got our bond that we're interested in still. So the idea was the new entity takes over that bond, which hopefully should still happen. It might take a little bit. So anything else that we can do? Yeah, cool. Very good. Thank you, councillors.
Am I never doing?
And I forget you.
My thoughts are quiet.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Anna. Emergency management, of course.
No, that's okay, thank you. So attended a citizenship ceremony, which was really amazing, really diverse range of nationalities, which was good. Site blessing of Block 20 of the EUL. I attended a couple of the draft housing strategy drop-ins and thanked Erin and Rose and the team for persevering with those. And then in regards, we also had an economic development catch-up as well. And as in regards to emergency management, I've recently been interviewed by some independent consultants about the Waikato response to Cyclone Gabrielle. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Anna. Sorry.
That's okay.
Right. Thank you very much, councillors, for all the work. Keeps on going out there. The calls keep coming in, which is good. And everyone engaged. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Williamson, seconded by Councillor Campbell. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carry. Item number, Karen, 5.2. We have ministerial consent to private right of way and services recreation reserve, 28 County Avenue, Coach Point Properties Limited.
So the purpose, thank you, the purpose of my item is to seek consent to an easement over a rec reserve. It's only a tiny bit of a larger rec reserve to service industrial development at 258 Spa Road, and it's a private right of way and services. And my paper, it's reasonably straightforward, and I take that as read. Any questions?
Thanks, Karen. I'm just trying to work out where it is. Okay, any questions, Karen? Councillor Leonard?
This is something we've done before, I think.
This exercise, different situation.
Different,
I have to
okay.
keep on. I come to council simply because you're the first one in the timing and it's urgent. Usually I would go to committee, but it's simply,
And
but it's the same exercise. I have to come,
doesn't set any precedent that we should be concerned about or aware of. Thank you.
Councillor Loughlin.
I'm happy to move.
Thank you very much, Councillor Loughlin. Seconded by Councillor Westerman. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Karen.
I'll abstain.
Abstain, Councillor Shepherd. Thank you, Councillor Shepherd. 5.3, Taupō District Council Performance Report. Julie.
Good afternoon, Your Worship, councillors. So again, this is a multiple part report. Just I guess in terms of the intro, it's always an opportunity to look back. And I guess I have highlighted a few awards that staff received and a few awards that the council has received in terms of stuff with the airport too. So a great chance to highlight some of those. And there's questions on the front commentary. The first section is actually a combination between myself and Jeanette.
Cool. Okay.
I think it
Thank
was
Oh,
you.
no, finance was just apologies. Yes, apologies. Thank you, Jeanette.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, it's at the end of the financial year. So June we don't report the performance report because it will come through. Thank you for that. I read exactly what you're telling me without saying the words, Jeanette. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions that Julie regarding the commentary? No, all right. So we go. Oh, sorry, Councillor Kylie.
I've just got a comment just around those people working at the cemetery and the celebration. 10 years is a long time in that area, so I just wanted to say big thumbs up to see them being celebrated. Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie. Okay, next we have
Questions on the project?
project question. Oh, thanks for that.
Apologies. Tēnā koutou councillors, Your Worship. I hope you're having a great week. This is the second council meeting where we've got the New Look project report. So I just, I know by now you'll all be reading it like experts. So we're going to change the game on you next month and put some extra quiz topics in there. Largely because I sometimes struggle to remember exactly what that traffic light was last month. And so I need to know that that's there in the report. So it'll be much closer linked to the commentary regarding the RAG status. Also, next month's report will include additional annual planning projects, of course. Good news is there's no changes to the overall portfolio RAG status, apart from an overall increase in delivery of 5%. And we've also added quantum to the critical significant projects list. Not a new project, you'll be familiar with it. It's been around since the 18-19 financial year. Amber reflects the current project status, but this is now on the monthly report. The great news I would like to tell you is that Minister Robertson has taken the time to approve our additional $1.275 million shovel-ready funding for Turangi Street revitalisation, which is largely due to Peter Van Niekerk's work on producing all of the reasonings why he would need to give us that extra money to finish the project. So I brought Peter along today to give us a bit of an in-person update, just in keeping with tradition to have someone from the PMO provide us with a little bit more in detail update. And he also runs Turangi Street revitalisation along with a couple of other projects on our critical significant projects list. Any questions on the other projects before I hand over to Peter?
Councillor Leonard.
Project Quantum, 18-19 year, and now the 23-24 year. Does it come a point and then the cost is out of scope? I guess I'm just really worried, 5 years in, the cost is out. Where does this sit? Does it go? Do we look at something else? It just seems to be a consistent, and it doesn't seem to be working. We've invested 5 years of time and money. Is there something better out there or something else we could be doing, because it just doesn't seem to make much sense?
Thank you for your question. Through Your Worship, would you like to comment?
Okay. Good afternoon, Mayor and councillors. I'm the sponsor of Project Quantum as of the last sort of 4 or 5 months. So just to answer your question, it's a valid question, councillor. We have coming in with a set of red flag eyes, and come in and sort of done a bit of pause and said, okay, good point. It's been going for some time. It was always scheduled to be quite a long-term project given the nature of the change that we're making. But we wanted to take a step to make sure that it was still fit for purpose. We've done that. We've done a piece of engagement with the wider EBC team to make sure it is working, and learned a lot through that around how it's been rolled out to date. We are checking in with the scope to make sure that it will work. The issue that we've got is balancing the need to get out of some of the technology and some of the systems we are currently using without having to take a few steps back. So we appreciate these potentially some cost fallacy in there, but we may have to change the scope to make sure that the costs works, but we still have to ensure that we aren't dropping all of the, where all of the data is, to make sure that we actually start. So very much like that at the moment. Hence why we've got an amber here.
Councillor Westerman.
I remember the overview a couple of years ago, and it was quite a comprehensive project. I sort of just would love to be brought up to speed to just do a little bit of an overview on it, because it is quite immense, and dealing with software from in our company, I sometimes go, yeah, will we ever see the end of it? So I wondered if we could have a short workshop on that at one stage.
Through the chair, and we signalled that to the project team, expecting that would be the feedback that we've got, and so we'll put that on the schedule as soon as we can.
Through the chair, has been the risk insurance, so respect the fact been to risk insurance a couple of times, so maybe full council.
Is that there are elements of the system going, like payroll and creditors and things like that?
Through the chair, I won't go into the details now because as Councillor alluded to, it is quite a technical work that does span a few years. But as you mentioned, some of the financial systems we're using now have CIN we're in. Our HR team uses models as well, but it's just around rolling that out and getting it together. So as requested, we'll do a workshop with elected members to try and explain that.
That'd be great. Yeah, thank you. Right, what else, Bernard? Oh, sorry, Councillor Lachlan.
Without spoiling the workshop, it is still a project that's done regionally as well. Through and other members of our group, so we sort of want a better word, they're still part of that pathway.
Through the chair, it's a system that is used by different councils, and we keep in touch with them to look at how it's being rolled out, but it's not done as one as such. Rotorua went live, they're a bit further ahead of us. To put it into context, their budget was over double what we've spent to date, so as much as it's not ideal, that these projects do have quite a price tag, but the benefit of working with other councils is we can see what works for them and what doesn't, and we can amend things for both. But we really, it isn't one. It's just how we keep.
Councillor Campbell.
I'll just throw into that mix about the update. Yeah, I've only heard very anecdotally about this, but and about cost. As part of your workshop, yeah. What were the original estimates? I gather that the very original estimates compared to maybe they just keep on ranking it up from year to year. I don't know, but that could be part of the workshop.
Yeah, well, that detail, sure. Every step of the process has been moved by resolution, so I'm sure we'll have that. Yeah. Okay. What else you got, Pete?
Good afternoon, Chair and Council members. The project update I'll give you is just on a handful of the significant projects. The first one would be the Kinloch drinking water standards on the water renewals part of the project. So most of you would have seen all the work that's happening in Kinloch, and that will come to an end this week. So the project, even though with all the challenges we've had, the project is a month late, but it's in budget. And the contractor will be finalizing the last little bit of work in the next week or so. But they will be establishing this week, Friday. That's on the one project. The next one would be the Turangi Street Revitalization Project. The project is progressing well, even though we've had challenges. The main one still is the concrete supply. We're still having issues with that. But we're working around it, and we've had meetings with other suppliers that's coming to the party that's trying to assist us where possible. But that project is in Puatata currently, and the next street they're moving to is Turangi-Tongariro. We have had the independent arborist come out, marked out all the trees. There's a couple of ones that he's looking into, and we've got a meeting with him next week again out on site. The community is on board with everything. Every time I'm out on site, everybody just wants to know when we're cutting down the trees and when we're getting into the streets. We haven't had any more complaints as yet that I know of. Everybody is positive with the work that we've done so far. I haven't seen anything mentioned on Facebook.
Give them time.
Yes.
I'll fix it.
That's, and then with the additional funds we've received, I'll be working through all the costings, and with the next meeting, I'll hopefully have a plan going forward and where we'll get to with the funds we've received and what streets we'll get to. I have added some of the streets into the long-term plan if we do not get to all of them, but I have added them in just in case. The next one that I could talk to, it's Mangakino. It's not a lakefront upgrade work, but it's the other portion of work that we're currently busy with in Mangakino. The footpath will be completed this week to the Mangakino Club. Then the mobility accessibility survey that was done, we've gotten all the feedback from the community. We've gone and did a whole scope of that work, and I'm just waiting on the contractor to give me the pricing for that, and then we can get into that work and hopefully be able to make it more accessible for the people in the mobility scooters throughout town and to get from their properties to where they need to go into town. That's just the ones I can give you an update on. I don't know if you've got any questions.
Thanks, Pete. Any questions?
Yeah, I just wondered how you got on with the Turangi residents and their recommendations on their tree preference.
Oh, so we have done Te Whakarau. Marama Oscar, the engagement team is busy in Noni and another street, but so far everybody that was against it the day we started has now changed, and I think it's because they can choose the trees that they want off of the preferred list. That's changed the whole view on it, so it's going well. At the moment, there's a couple that don't want any trees. There's a couple that want 3 trees on their berm and not only 1, but we're working through all of that. Yeah. But it's all positive so far.
Councillor Greenslade.
Thank you, Peter. You would be disappointed if I didn't ask you a question, wouldn't you? I went for a drive around yesterday and had a look at all the trees that have been marked. There's a couple of comments I'd like to make here. One of the things is that all the ratty, awful looking trees are not causing any trouble, so they haven't been marked. So it's sort of a bit of an issue, really, you know, the stunted, ghastly ones. So I'm sort of wondering about that. Can you give me what's the criteria for the trees? Because I did notice that some of them I really thought were rather beautiful trees, and it does seem such a shame to take them out. So what's the criteria for choosing the trees that were chosen?
The main criteria were if it's causing damage to the footpaths. We cannot go and remove the footpath, and because then we have to cut through tree roots. And so that's some of them. The independent arborist has dug down to some of the tree roots to see what we could do, where we can, and where we can save some of the trees. But it's mostly footpaths, the curb, and some areas it's lifting the road as well. So that's the biggest issue. And if it's too big for the berm also, that's going to cause some issues down the line, and in the infrastructure as well. We've had a couple of issues with the infrastructure. So that's the reason some of the trees were marked. You will see that there are some trees that hasn't been marked, like you mentioned. And that's why we've got independent arborists down there next week to go through them as well, and through the ones closer to the medical center. Those ones we haven't marked out yet. There's a couple that we need to just discuss with him.
Yes, I think that's probably a valid point, because that is the situation, that they're really the ratty, awful ones that are not causing any trouble that are going to be left, and it would seem a shame not to sort of deal to them, you know, while you're actually on the job. So, yep. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you, Pete. Any other questions? No problems. It was great that we got that extra money for that project.
If I may, through your question, can I just note that we actually are in the process of updating the report to acknowledge that you've been working on your vision and your community outcomes. And so once that piece of work is concluded, and with some work that's happening internally, we'd like to update the strategic priority section of this report and to add a bit further into the project. So just acknowledging that we're in the process of updating.
Daniel, nothing there? Oh, that's it. How you going? Okay. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. Jeanette?
You have a move for that? Do you have a move or a second?
No, it's just all in the report.
Performance report.
Jeanette, good
Taupō
afternoon.
Councillors, I'm here. You still get to see me. I'm here to talk to you,
Oh,
just
this
update
is the
you.
next item,
This
is
is
it?
the next item.
Sorry, you're not doing the finance. Oh, you weren't doing the financials today. Okay, sorry. You're right, Daniel. Would you like to move? Thank you very much, sir. Seconded by Councillor Leonard. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Right, the update on the TEL fund. Julie.
I couldn't stay away. So we, in the meeting where we awarded the Forsyth Bar to manage our investment portfolio of the TEL fund, we promised that we would update you on progress. So this is that update. It's very short because we're still at the beginning. We have set, Forsyth Bar have our treasury management policy, which they are going to review and start preparing the SIPO. And we have also looked at the portfolio to work out when we can transfer the assets, what's currently liquid and then what will mature over time. So the full fund timeline extends out to April next year because we've got term investments that mature then. So it'll be a slow process till all funds are with them. There are some investments that we can't transfer in their current state because of what they are, so we need to make a decision on or propose to you what we do about those things. The LGFA borrower notes being one, and we have that investment property that we need to liquidate at some point. So.
Very good. So it's just work in motion. Yeah, Councillor Lachlan.
They'll still monitor them though in terms of their reporting, the ones that we can't transfer.
No, because basically we need to decide whether we keep them in the TL or whether we take them out and move them into penal funds. So.
I'm certainly about the LGFA ones.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any questions, Jeanette? Councillor Westerman?
Yeah, I was just a little unclear on that last paragraph as well, and that just that last sentence read, finance will determine the best treatment of these assets and advise at a later date what our course of action will be. So finance being the funds we're expecting from it. So,
no, finance is in the finance team. Yeah. So we'll come to you with what our proposed action is on those assets. Because what we want to do is we want to maximise the cash that we put into the TEL fund, and we can't put the borrower notes into the TEL fund because they're linked to our debt.
but you're thinking about an outcome of money.
Yeah, so we'll
realise it. But you talk about the finance team, we're going to come back.
Yeah, basically Sarah, myself and our treasury accountant will discuss the best means of how we deal with those things.
And action will be advisor?
Not for those because we can't, I don't believe we can transfer those assets to them because we are the holder of them and they're not a tradable commodity. So we would hold on to them. It's just how we do that. Yeah.
Any other questions of Jeanette? No, pretty straightforward. Look forward to that. Those reports coming through. Thank you, Jeanette. Can I have a movement, please? Councillor Shepherd, seconded by Councillor Greenslade. Those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Right, 5.5, council engagement, appointments and training and conference opportunity. Darren, do you? I'll hand that to you.
Hi. So there's just one change for next week, Tuesday the 1st of August. It's still the same amount of time. but just note that the long-term plan population projects and long-term plan significant assumptions will finish up at 12, and then you'll have a closed workshop, which is on an update on the building designs review. That's just same timeframes, but just a change on the actual workshop. And other than that, everything else is as per the report. Are there any questions?
Just to mention my travel. So, oh, you're going to talk about it?
Yes, I was just curious, Your Worship. I've never seen it come to council that we are approving you to go and do your job.
Yeah.
I just wondered. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Karen's got the answer for that.
Oh, apologies, I literally jumped in. My apologies, Karen. So this was a recommendation from audit that we do this so that it's transparent around us approving travel. So there has been a change. This change takes place.
No.
So just through the chair, in that, Julie, I mean, His Worship will have to go away to a number of things and may need flights. So will we, every month, are we going to be approving things in retrospect?
Yes, that's probably the answer. So we'll try our best to bring it to you ahead of time. And I guess we are, if it's LGNZ or it's sector meetings, those are planned in advance, which gives us time to be able to bring those to you. Otherwise, yes.
Thank you.
Come with me if that keeps Your Worship safe as well.
Yeah.
Then I support it. And I also support you getting more training as well.
Council Westerman.
No, I just did wonder if we had a date for the Flora House.
The blessing.
Doesn't have fruits on it, but blessing did, but it's not the blessing. It's a.
So yeah, apologies, I don't have the date right on me. I have to look it up, but we were in the process of arranging a blessing to enable the building to be used appropriately. It wouldn't be the formal opening. We will be planning a formal opening in September, but the blessing was intended to be much like we did with the airport, a informal, soft blessing to be able to enable the building.
So it did come through today. What day is that?
I did not
Oh,
do that.
it's Sunday.
So blessing. I thought we actually already blessed it. Bless the site.
So Reverend Peace blessed the site to start the works. This is to close the works. So
Okay. And the opening will be on election day.
and so, and much like we did with the airport, we will have a separate opening, like a formal opening. We will invite people, depending on who they are at that time, to come and join us to celebrate the opening of that. Oh, the opening of that building.
Okay, thank you. Look forward to that. The public are pretty keen to get in there and have a look at that. Is it coincide with an open day or something like that?
So the blessing, there's obviously a number of staff or people that want to use that room, the rooms up there. So this is about safety.
Right. Thank you very much.
But rest assured, from a public perspective, it's all, we've got code of compliance and it's all.
Yes, Councillor Greenslade.
I just note that the Te Kapua Park, which is planned to be open on the 31st of August, is not listed on here.
Is that new?
Update plans, who's opening it, what's happening?
Through the chair, as you may be aware, councillor, we're just finalising that date. We've got a few people away, hoping for the 31st, but people away in the Maramataka and all those kinds of things. We're just trying to finalise that, so I'm sure we'll be able to update.
Thank you, Elise.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay, thank you very much, Karen. And any no other changes? Okay, have a mover, please. Thank you, Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Rankin. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carry. Okay, that brings the public part of the meeting to a close. And if I just ask for a mover into conference, please. Thank you, Councillor Westman and Councillor Park.